to deal the insurance element. It is a bad thing.
Yes.
So those are some of the things I'm saying. They are even making things even to be more difficult for the Kenyan people.
So this public participation, because
Yes.
you know, if you don't need to be a scientist
Yes.
to know the mind of Kenyans concerning this bill.
Yes.
Yet their thoughts were not reflected in that budget at all. So what's the use of public participation if you will not take their views into the bill?
You know, one thing I have a feeling is that Kenyans are not foolish people, for lack of a better word to use. But these are the same people who don't trust the kind of leadership that we are having at the mayhem right now. Because if we leave alone emotions and feelings about everything, and we go deep into logic and analyze the finance bill, it makes sense. It makes sense in providing for yourself than depending on debt. It makes sense on generating your own than developing, but you own nothing. So the only problem comes is that we know very well, even if we go through that direction, the people at the top will take advantage of it, and still we will have nothing left on us. We have paid this money.
The bill definitely makes sense.
Yes, the
But
bill makes sense.
Do you implement it?
Now the implementation
Do you implement it that fast? It's like trying to eat an elephant and you want to swallow the whole thing.
Exactly. Now
It doesn't happen like that.
yes, the bill, that's what I'm telling you, the bill makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
But now the process that it's taking and the forcing that they're putting it on people, you know, you can't change abruptly once. You have to change gradually and everything. But you now see, this one is putting it on people immediately, and then the people that you're putting it on them immediately don't trust you with the process that you're bringing to them. You see, now that is where the drift is coming. That is where the drift is coming between now the Kenyans and the developers of that bill, and that's why you're seeing Kenyans don't want it to pass, because yet right now we are not ready for what they're trying to impose on us. We are not ready.
I mean, David, you're an economist also. The bill makes sense, doesn't it?
Let me tell you some articles, some of the sections
Yes.
in the bill, they make sense.
Yes.
And why I am saying some,
Yes.
it is because if you look at when Kenyans have come to know about the finance bill, it is in the year 2023 and 2024. These are during Kibaki's time.
Yes.
Did you hear anything about finance bill? You know why?
Yes.
Nobody really, even during the Moise time.
Yes.
It is because that particular time the bill was actually very realistic, and they were looking at it. The highest bill that even during the Uhuru's time that we were talking about is 30 billion. Last year,
Yes.
financial physical year, what we started is 211 billion. So you are moving from 30 to 211. And then this year, and you are not telling us what has really changed. You are moving from 211 to 301 billion.
Deficit.
No, in terms of the bill, how much money you want to raise from the bill.
Yes.
So what we are saying about, and you see, those are some of the things which we are saying. They are things which are unrealistic.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, like the circulation motor tax. Do you know why they are putting it there? They are actually looking at how much money can we correct. And that's why you can hear even the Kimani Kuria.
Yes.
He is actually telling you that it is unlikely that we are going to remove this bill for circulation tax.
Yes.
Why? His reasoning is because it is going to bring us 58 billion. So what he is looking at is not actually the struggles of the Kenyans. Yes, he is actually looking at which is the easiest avenue for us to raise money. So for me, the bill is actually something good, but for these bills that the Kenya Kwanza government is doing, they are not making sense to the Kenyan people. Do you know, by the way, let me tell you, and I want to put it as a record here, and I know the whole country is listening. If this bill passes the way it is, this is the end of Kenya Kwanza government.
Yes.
And I can tell you, come 2027, it will be a very difficult time for them to get to power again. If they are not going to listen to the people,
yes,
because people are actually telling them, and let me tell you, we'll even go deeper and we look at the effects
yes,
of what they are doing with this bill. I can tell you, this government is not listening. And this government has so many issues. I know, looking at that, I do all these economics, yes, I can tell you, but they are misadvised. Because let me tell you why I'm saying this bill, I don't agree with it, yes, in very many ways.
Yes.
One of the other things, even leave about the circulation tax.
Yes.
You know, many people are talking about the circulation tax. There is something in that bill that people are not talking about, and it is a very bad thing. Do you know the sanitary pads? The Pampers.
They're now being...
Do you know 1 kg of the Pampers and the sanitary pads, you are going to pay an extra 150 Kenya shillings. More than what you have been paying. Do you know now the impact on that on one, the
yes,
mothers,
yes,
who have the children?
Yeah.
How many Pampers do you buy in a month? Number two, how many sick people are actually being put the diapers and all these kind of things?
Yes.
How many girls are in school who are actually using the sanitary pads? And you come actually, it is immoral. And that's what I want to tell this government.
Yes.
And it is me who is saying it.
Yes.
It is not the issue of the EBN TV.
It is actually
immoral. It is very immoral.
Yes, it is immoral.
In fact, there is no way you can get money from the social, you know, the social security,
yes,
where people, girls are actually going
people
to
get
school.
Dignity out
Yes.
of this.
Can you imagine the issue, element of dignity? And you can start there and start saying that we are going to raise money from this. This is actually something that has been unheard of. And I can tell you, Kenya Kwanza government, they really need to think twice, because this is purely immoral. And let me tell you, if not anything, God will punish them. Because you cannot really do this to the most unprivileged people. How many girls have been actually every other month have been saying, I am not going to school because I can't go, because the things I use, they want people to use handkerchiefs for, you know, the issues of women.
Yes.
They want the young children to be putting on. You know, the problem is with this government, I can tell you, and I'm very bitter when I'm talking about this. One, they are talking about the eco. You know, the eco levy. That is where they are talking about these kind of things. They are telling us that this is degrading the environment.
Yes.
But which solution have they given to this woman? Which solutions have they given to this girl? So these are things which are immoral. Not only just raising money, but this government, it really needs to go back to God, because you cannot do some of the things that they are doing.
Now, you see, if you listen to what Shom was saying, he says it's because they are going to raise money. They are going to get 58 billion.
Yeah.
As Pastor David was saying, they have completely forgotten the effect it's going to have on the people.
Yes.
And probably that's the mindset of the current government.
Yes.
I mean, we need money, so raise money whichever way.
Now, judging from what Pastor was saying here, and he really speaks like a true Kenyan who is agitated and feeling very bad about the bill, like many other Kenyans and most of us do. But everything, based on what he was talking about, is not even an issue about the finance bill. It's the issue of how this thing is going to be used. It's an issue of the solution you are giving to us after we've given you this money. The government wants the money, yes, but what are you doing with the money that you want? You see, now that is the problem. If you can tax this and give better solution that is affordable to your people, then it makes sense. But now we are raising money. The budget is about raising money. Then after we've raised the money, where does it go to? We should be raising money and we see the product. We raise money and we see we have value for our money. We get value for the money that you're taxed. You know, for instance, these other developed countries, honestly, they pay a lot of taxes based on how they live and the economy runs. But at least they have the essential services that they need. They have these things provided to them by the government. you don't need to have, you know, in this our setup, and it's so sad that we are still living in an era that we are neo-colonized by so many things, including money, in leadership and political structure. But if we can have a different mindset that is for the people, not about individuals, not about capitalism and all that, then I think the idea is good. But the implementation and the people implementing and the process they are trying to use it, now that's where
if you were to look at it from, let's say, a good leader's perspective,
yes,
you have need of money,
yes,
but at the same time the population has just come through what you can call the COVID era.
Yes.
They've entered into a place where there was drought in the country,
yes,
then there was floods, and then there was a Kenya shilling becoming so devalued that their standard of living has been depreciated. And its standard of living, the cost of living is very high. How do you balance this with the need for the government to have money?
The problem now that comes in is now the lack of leadership. The lack of leadership, decision making in some of the people we call leaders in our nation. These people, number one, first of all, they don't understand Kenyans at all. By all odds, if you try telling them this about Kenyans, no, they want you're speaking in Chinese. They don't understand that language. The language of Kenyans, that is the language that they don't understand, because they're trying so much to do and work on what benefits the top, and they're trying to make it look like we are late. We are late on development. We are late. We need to rush to this point. But why are we rushing there? For what? Why should we rush there if we have so many people dying out of hunger? We are rushing there and we are pushing all this money and pushing all these levies. Yet when there's flood, the president himself takes a chopper to all the way to my mind to go and pray with the people, instead of offering solutions to the people who are affected, as you pray for God to help them. Mm-hmm. You know, these are some of the things that happens in our country, and it's so unfortunate that when you try to push them so hard and to try and agitate for them, you are seen as an enemy of the government, who are now, because you are with the people, you are framed as something just to put you out of picture. But these are some of the things that even the people in the parliament themselves, and I want to call on the MPs, if truly they say they represent Kenyans as what they have always been saying, let us listen.
Of sorting out the country. I mean, it is actually around how many trillions you are talking about. It's 3 trillion yes. We have been able to borrow within that short span. Now, can I tell you one?
That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
Not yet even done
yes.
The first term.
Yes. You know, now the problem that we have is actually, if you do the ratio between the debt versus GDP.
We are at 70 something.
Yes, we are getting to 80. And I can tell you, using actually the world statistics, every country should pursue to be within around 56 to 60%. That is an acceptable position. Right now we are actually, and that is what actually, if you read some few articles, there is actually an article written by, and it is a worldwide, Moody.
Yes.
It is actually able to give you the position of the countries, depending on where they are. And you see, his article is based on 3 elements. And it is like the way you find the traffic lights. It is actually, it starts with the red, there is amber, and there is the green. So now what happens is, when you start finding yourself on the amber, and when you start finding yourself getting slowly to red, which already we have gotten there,
yes.
It is telling you, yes, we are already in the red. It is telling you you have a very serious problem. And that's why when yesterday the CS for Treasury was actually leading the budget, one of the things that he talked about he said, and that's why I'm saying this is laziness. He said that we don't have any leg room for borrowing any more money. What he is telling you, it was easier for them to continue borrowing. As long as they had a leg room, they would have continued to borrow.
Yes.
And that's why now they have gotten to a point whereby they cannot borrow. So they want now to, to impose things on the Kenyan people. One, it is quite unfortunate why we are saying this, and that's why what you have asked. The leader who is actually very careful and listening to the people, he ought to see how many businesses have been closed. How many children are not going to school, even when you are talking about all the child should be in school. How many people are not able to have 1 square meal? These are the things that the leader first of all needs to assess. How are my Kenyan people? When I come and I start talking of adding to them some few other taxes, am I making their life to be better or to be worse? And I would say that this is one of the serious problems that we have, because we have a government which is looking more in generating revenue, and it is not looking at the welfare of the Kenyan people.
Yes.
I would say from where we have come from, Kenyans need to be pitied. Kenyans people need to be developed, because they have lost a lot.
Yeah.
You find some of the people have actually lost even their properties. Their properties are being auctioned every other day. Why is it that they are being auctioned? It's because the revenue they used to have, they were fired from the jobs that they used to do.
Yeah.
They are not able even to make the ends meet.
Yeah.
And then you are coming now. Do you know actually what is happening right now? You are putting Kenyans with this bill, and these are the bills which I am not saying, and that if really someone put my thoughts in what they are doing, they would not have continued. Do you know, let me give you a very good example. What is one of the things that is going to be very expensive? One, you have had the CS for transport.
Yes.
Murkomen. Do you know?
Shilling.
Yes, what he is actually proposing is the gains that we had gotten in fuel. Because you see of the US dollar,
yes,
the fluctuation, actually the favorable fluctuations, he is now saying that they are going to take it away from the Kenyan people. And they are going now to use it so that they are going now to put the prices up again for fuel, so that they can be able to do the roads. Yet they have been given around 193 billion. Why can't they prioritize and they come and say, with this 193 billion, we are going to do 1, 2, 3 things?
Yes.
One of the things, and the government has a very serious problem, is in terms of what they are doing. The railway station, the railway line.
Yes.
You saw a portion which actually it was destroyed by the floods.
Yes.
And they told us that this area you cannot use less than $1 billion. And that is what he is talking about. In terms of, they speak about things, but they don't look at the impact of the Kenyan people. It is serious that the road need to be done. But at what cost are we doing all these things? You find that we are having a very serious problem. So that is actually what he is proposing. You are going to find that if this goes through, what will happen is that the gains we had gotten in oil industry, they are going to come down. Number 2, they are putting excise duty on the tires, on batteries. You know now what that means? You are actually hit hard in terms of the fuel.
Yes.
You are hit hard now on the circulation tax, the tires. In fact, we have not gone even to the circulation tax.
Yes.
This is actually now the excise on the tires, you know, on the levies actually. This is the levies. Because they are saying that even the tires, they are actually part of what is making the environment not work. You know, so they are actually going now to tell you even the tires prices is going to go up. The other thing they are telling you, the batteries are going to go up. The other things they are telling you, they have been saying that we want to go green. Are they going green? No. Why I'm saying that they are not going green, one of the things they are doing is actually in terms of electric motor vehicles. They are actually putting the taxes on that. They are putting taxes on electric bike. You know, what I am saying at the end of the day, look at now some of these taxes and then come to the circulation tax. Do you know what is going to happen? Kenyans is going to be a walking country. People will be unable to pay the fares. Investors are going to get to a place where they cannot function. And that's why you have seen people like Bolt. They have said if you pass this bill,
we are stepping out.
We are getting out. Why? It is not that they don't want to do business. It is going to be very difficult for you to do the business. Because what you are saying is that you take an Uber here, you take a Bolt here, just to go to Jogoo Road. Do you know how much money you will be paying? 150 shillings. Where are you getting as a Kenyan? The Kenyans who are struggling this much, where will they get this amount of money? You tell someone from here to go to town, you will be paying 150 shillings. 150 shillings.
That's a lot of
many Kenyans, I can tell you. How many Kenyans actually earn 200 shillings
a day?
A day.
Very few.
How many? You know, this is the realities that this government is not looking at.
They've lost touch with the people.
A lot.
Completely.
They've lost touch with the people, and this is a government that was chosen or elected as a result of showing people that we are in connection with you.
Yes.
But right now there's a complete. If an election was called today, President William Ruto would go home, wouldn't he?
Definitely. Let me tell you, this government, number one, came into picture with the narrative of youthful hustlers and everything. But even the youth, how are they considered? In fact, they are actually very pressed by this bill. Look at something to do with creative industries.
Just a moment. You mentioned the youthful people on TikTok yesterday.
Yes.
I saw a campaign on TikTok. A majority of people using TikTok are young people.
Gen Z.
Yes. So there was a campaign, vote down the finance bill.
Yes. It's a trend. It's trending right now on X.
Yes. Actually, by the time we were getting to around 8:39ish there, you're talking of over 50,000. I know now probably it's in its hundreds of thousands of. These are young people who will be going to vote come 2027.
Yes. And there's the same people who have, now the government have failed in securing jobs and employment opportunities for these young people. These young people have decided to go creative on internet. Some of them use that internet as a source of living.
Yes.
And now you want to even tax that thing that he's even struggling to make something out of it. Okay, something to do with the creativity. Now you're charging me for using my brain. How? Does it even make sense? You know, we know. I know it's one of the qualifications for getting those serious government job to block your brain and not use it. But you don't want to force me to stop using my brain.
You know, a conversation we had with my daughter yesterday. She's 19 now, and she was telling me that there's tax that has been put on Safaricom exchange of money to a point whereby 100 shillings which you could transfer free of charge, you now have to pay. So now she was asking me, majority, she's in campus, majority of the people, when you if they want to send you 500 shillings,
they send you 100,
they send you 100 so that they don't pay, so that you get the 500. And that's within that generation. But now they are saying they will be forced to pay
that amount,
the cost of sending 100 shillings. So these are the impact it's having on people, and mentally it's generating a very negative attitude towards the government.
I'm telling you, let me tell you, this is a serious, and that's why we are saying this bill. That's why you can see I am actually still not comfortable about it. One, in terms of telecommunication, that is what you are talking about. Go to the banks.
Yes.
Even in terms of acquiring a credit card, a debit card.
Even the transactions
even the transfer themselves.
Yes.
Even actually getting a bank, you know, the check,
yes.
the checkbook. You are actually paying for all those kind of things. You know, let me tell you, like what Koech has said about in terms of this digital. Actually, what they have done is in terms of one, they have changed now what was used to be like a DST. That is digital service tax.
Yes.
You know what they have done? They have brought what we are calling the significant economic presence. What they are actually trying to do is actually to think people like Butita, they make money.
Yes.
But is Butita or the young people who are actually in this? Some of the people like Butita, they can make money because actually they are people who are known and they have built the brand for a very long time. So when they are talking about this, you know, taxing this, they are looking at the people like Butita, they are looking at people like Bahati, they are looking at people like Jogush. These are people actually who have been in this industry for a very long time. But there are so many young people who are trying to build themselves. So they don't get all that amount of money which they are talking about. But you see, why I said it is lazy, it's because they don't want to analyze how much money is every other young person getting. You find in terms of the in terms of even the marketing. Do you know actually most of the young people are actually getting, like, now you come to me, I am a producer of shoes, and you come, actually you don't have a shop, you don't have anything, and you post it here actually, and you say that you post the pictures and you say we sell good shoes and all these and the price, and we deliver the whole of Kenya.
Yes.
You know what they are actually forgetting to do? That person, when they are selling a shoe for like 2,000, they may be making only a meager 100 shillings.
Yes.
Which is a very small amount. But what they are doing is they have to make their life at least to move forward. So what we are doing is actually we are taxing even the people who should not be taxed. You know, I would have been very happy if they said, if you are earning at least a revenue, which they can be able to see, because it is feasible.
Yes.
If you are earning a revenue which is above 30,000,
yes,
from there onward,
you pay this amount. Yes.
But anybody who is actually struggling 10,000, is struggling 15,000. What basis do you have in terms of coming and taxing them? And that's why we are saying this government really need to go down and think about the Kenyans people, because it is the creativity. Why is it that the young people are going to digital marketplace?
Yes.
It is because there are no jobs. Instead of them creating jobs for the young people, what they are doing is what the young people are really working hard
to get
is what now they are coming to tax. What kind of a government is that?
Now, when we talk about manufacturing now, because, you know, I've seen even Coca-Cola. Yesterday there was something running that they will pull out of sponsoring certain things, or there are companies that are planning to pull out from basically sponsoring so many things if this finance bill is passed as is. Because it is not creating a conducive environment for people to manufacture. You talked about electricity, you talked about fuel. If it goes up by 7 shillings, when it comes to electricity is going to go up. Cost of production for companies is going to go up. We are going to start experiencing companies actually moving out of Kenya and going to other countries to do what they are doing.
And most companies have threatened to do so.
Yes, most companies have actually threatened to do so, which is now working against, because now you're killing even the jobs that are there. Somebody did not think very well in this thing.
You know, like for Coke, is a very, you know why they will actually pull out and not be able to do these things? When you start actually adding the levy, this levy actually they are talking about, they are talking about plastics. You know, this is a very big component in terms of the Coke. Because they are doing a lot in terms of the plastic. And you know how much money, you really need to look at it. We are not saying that you should not be doing these things, but balance in terms of the correction and balance it with the revenues that people are getting into. Let me say, Fred, right now I am living here and I'm going to work. I cannot continuously making losses and going to work that work. I have to think twice. So when the cost becomes so expensive for you to produce something, you would rather say, I would rather stop actually what we call breeding and I do something else. Do you know? And that's why I'm saying Kenya has no problem in terms of the revenue. It has a very big problem in terms of the expenditure side. And that is where we have a serious problem. And that's why I'm saying if this government is serious and they are looking at things to get solution for Kenya, they can be able to get. Can I give you a very good example where we are losing monies in a big deal? It is state corporations. This is whereby you are finding that every financial year the government is putting money in these corporations and it is sinking.
You're talking about KQ.
Yes, not even KQ. Actually, there are so many. You go even to Mumias, all those kind of things. You keep on actually putting. Just another day, they wrote of 100 and something, 110 billion. You know, let me tell you what is happening. All these are the things that you are fighting. Today, let me tell you, there is one thing that is in these budgets, and it is what we call the pending bills. Can I tell you right now as we stand?
Where do we stand with the pending bills?
Pending bill, do you know the pending bill right now as we speak, we have 662 billion.
Pending bills.
Pending bills.
650.
It is almost getting to go towards a trillion. It is the pending bills that we have. Do you know who have created most of the pending bill? Are these state corporations. So what I am telling you at the end of the day, we are having a problem with the expenditures. And
maybe if you don't understand what pending bills are, pending bills are where, you know, maybe a corporation, a county, or the government itself has given me a job. I've gone and executed the job and finished, but they have not paid me. So now they owe me, but they're still increasing taxes, and they still have my money, and they're not paying me. And there are quite a number of people who've lost property because they, either the county government or some of these state corporations owe them money and they're not paying. So at 600 billion shillings, can you imagine what would happen if that money was paid to the people?
The circulation, you know, the economy, actually it will have a very big effect. Let me tell you. Right now, the bill that they are talking about, this bill that we Kenyans are fighting about, even if it was implemented to the letter, the only amount they would get is 301 billion, which is actually a 50% of the less than 50% of the pending bill.
You know,
now,
what the problem with the government is this government is so insensitive to a point that the corporation or the industry, actually the biggest taxpayer in the country right now is Safaricom, right? The Safaricom itself, government has shares in it. Better part of it is government owned. But these are still the same people. They're putting these levies on, and you still expect the state corporations to work normally and fail to pay bills. And these pending bills that we are talking about here right now, you find in the case that in an event that they're even bailed out, the money will not even get to the people that they're supposed to be getting to. There's a problem with corruption that is so much eating people at the helm of these corporations that they don't want to just make things work as it should be. That's why when Pastor was saying here, it's an issue of expenditure. That's what I'm telling you, most Kenyans, I have a feeling they don't have an issue with the revenue and all that, but how is their money being used? Now that is where the problem comes. The expenditure of the money that you're trying to collect. You know, we are seeing 4 trillion is a lot.
It's a lot of money.
4 trillion is a lot, but if you ask someone even right now to give you 1,000 shillings from his pocket, they don't have. There's no circulation of money. There's no money in people's pocket. but yet you want this money from them.
With 600 billion shillings spending bill,
Yes.
that explains the reason why the circulation is curtailed.
Yeah, do you know actually that 600 billion, if it was put in production, do you know the multiplier effect for that amount of money? It is actually someone like Fred. You are actually able now to generate more from this. The organization generates, and then you are able also to generate. That circulations by itself, it creates a lot of, in terms of the economy, it brings a lot of advantage to the economy. So you would be seeing that this 662, within a short time, you have created a revenue base, which is almost $1 trillion. Because you see, you are doing all these kind of things that the businesses, in fact, people are trading. But right now what has happened is that the organizations, the companies, the manufacturing has stopped. Some of the people, they are businesses which used to produce and employ quite a number of people, who are also able to employ and also to do some few things which were also economically viable. They are not doing it. So let me tell you, it is a big challenge, because right now these bills are from 2005 they are actually now doing the analysis for 2005. Can you imagine that money has not been circulating from 2005? And I listened to the chair of budget, and he has the authority to go and tell Kenyan, because these bills are being verified, that's why we have allocated in this bill a bill, for this budget statement, which is almost 4 trillion, and they are telling you we have 662 billion as pending bills, but in this budget statement we have allocated 10 billion. that is actually something where I'm saying people are very insensitive. Yeah, you are actually talking about how many years would you be talking?
2005.
Yes. How many years? You are talking about 10 billion is what you will be paying out of 662 billion. So you see, let me tell you, these guys are in their own world. And they are actually joking in a very serious way. And they are not building the country.
And in 1 year they'll accumulate more than that 10 billion they have given.
Yes.
So the $1 million question is now, the hope of Kenyans is with members of parliament
who are about to fail them terribly.
Yes, because whatever was read yesterday is a budget proposal.
Yes.
Now they are about to go, members of parliament will sit, debate it, and either pass it as is or make adjustments to it. Do you have faith that your member of parliament, whom you've sent 3,000 text messages to, telling him, if you dare vote the other way, we are going to meet you? Do you have faith that parliament is good, as representatives of Mwananchi, are going to act on behalf of the Mwananchi?
Fred, it is my wish they do so, but it is in their power to do so. And number one thing, I'm so sure, and maybe if for once they'll hear the language of Kenyans and language of the majority, then you can always not say, they always say it's only a fool who does not change his mind. I believe most, if not all.
Who is your member of parliament?
My member of parliament is Jared Okello Nyando.
Yesterday the opposition kept out of the house.
That's why I'm so agitated and very disappointed. I don't want this idea of missing sittings because there is a vote. You don't want to be seen as a bad person. Who are you trying to impress? You know, the moment you abscond that sitting, you're definitely voting for it because you had no would have helped, but you decided for it not being there, so it's not even helpful. It is as good as just going and saying yes, because at the end of the day, the yes will still have it.
So when they get to parliament, they should.
I really wish
shoot it down.
They should, and maybe.
But will they?
No, they won't.
Can I tell you? Can I tell you?
Yes.
When we don't want to think. And today I think I am on the mind. Because you have to have independent mind. Right now, what we have in terms of our member of parliaments, they are still in the campaign mode. And they are still thinking on the line of Kenya Kwanza and Azimio, which is very bad. We voted. Right now, we are supposed to be developing the country. But you know what? This weekend, it is going to be a busy weekend for the government. What will they be doing is whipping their members
to vote for this.
They will be told, and I am telling you, you watch. They will be told, if you don't vote for this bill, you are a traitor. And I can tell you, even 2023 bill, it was very emotive.
We paid
Yes, it was,
in the parliament toilet.
it was very emotive. And I can tell you, one of the things that was so emotive was actually the affordable housing levy.
Yes.
Which now, actually, it was only discussed in terms of changing the names. Where to place it. I can tell you, there is actually a problem in terms of the leadership in Kenya. That we follow our leader blindly. We don't care what is going to happen, whether they are saying the right things. What will happen in this bill, and what I am saying, is that they are not going to vote 2024 bill, lays up your heart or not. It is going to be article by article.
Yes.
Whereby they may discuss all these articles and they say, this one we pass, this one we don't pass, and that is the way it is supposed to be. Don't come and say, pass it the way it is, because I can tell you, he has said very well, you should be flexible and you must know that other people can also have a better idea. You have a good idea, but it can be made better. And therefore what they are supposed to do is actually to come and look. Because let me tell you, this bill has important things. And you know, we may lose it all if we actually vote in generality. The generality. Can I give you one very good example? One thing which is very good in this bill is actually the position of pension.
Yes.
Some of the people actually who are benefiting a lot in this bill are actually the people who are on white collar job. This is a bill for them.
And how many are they?
That is what you say.
Million in the country.
Yeah, but I'm saying in terms of some of this for them, you know, in terms of the sections of Kenya, it works for them.
Yes.
And this is actually something, in fact, this, apart from the white collar job, there is something that they are extending again on the SMEs, on the pension element, which is actually a very good thing in terms of the saving, which is going to help the people. One of the things which was a challenge, especially for the employed people, because you see why we are saying it is a good thing, is because you have been taxing them all the time. In fact, the people who have suffered a lot is actually the people on white collar jobs. But now what you are doing is actually there are two elements which in this bill, they are actually making it very clear. One, it is the pension position. And actually even able to even amplify it a little bit. From 20,000, you can go to the maximum of 30,000, which is good for those people who are in that level. Because also, you see, the white collar job, I may be the only one who is working in the family. But I am actually, several of my siblings, they are depending on me. So the more money that is available to me, it is going to be good also for the country. So that is one position which is good in this bill and the other number two, and that's why I'm saying for white collar, and those should be passed. By the way, that's why I'm saying those ones should be passed. There is something that has actually been there, and it has been a problem for all the employed people, especially for the companies which have something we call per diem. The per diem has been a challenge in terms of it was not so clear how much can you, because you see, it is not all the money that you earn which is actually which is supposed to be taxed. So now they are making it clear that there are some organizations you can be able to reduce the taxable amount.
Yes.
So what is it that it is saying? It is saying in terms of the people getting employment,
yes,
there is a way you can be able to pay less and get more money, which you can be able to circulate. So these are the per diem. It was actually pegged on 2,000. But right now, in that bill, they have actually put a clause which is fluctuating according to the amount of money that you are earning. So they have pegged it now on 5% of your gross. So there are some few things which are good, but you see, the thing is, because of some of the things which they are bringing, it may actually dilute and actually make several other advantages to be taken away from us. So what I would really suggest, let them look at all the 5. They have the 5. If you look at the bill, it has 5 elements. Let them look at those 5 elements. The miscellaneous.
Yes.
They look at the miscellaneous, they look at the income tax, they look at the excise duty, they look at the VAT, and all those, because they are actually in those. Let them look at them and say, let's strike these out. Let's strike these out and let's make a bill which is a Kenyan bill, because we should also be progressing in terms of the human capital of this country.
Okay, we need to bring the curtains down on the show just briefly. The deputy president. We saw our deputy president carrying his bag. I don't know what was in it. He's been complaining he's not being given a plane. And he went into KQ. And there was a debate in Parliament that he's a drama king. But the thing is this division between, or is it the tough wars that are currently going on between the president, his deputy, and their teams?
No, those are just choreographed political scripts and hullabaloo's happening around to distract you from the main agenda that you should be talking about, which is the finance bill right now. So we need to get you distracted so that you can see we are losing it politically, so that you shift your attention. By the time you're coming to realize it's the bill is halfway gone. Tumeshika barabara, we are going. There's no reverse gear. But whatever he was doing, he's a deputy president. Besides being deputy president, he is a Kenyan. Let's begin with that. He is a Kenyan. He has option and right to choose on how he wants to travel.
He's given a budget by actually, his office has a budget.
It was increased
yes,
by hundreds of millions. But then him coming to the media and showing us that he's traveling with the commercial plane, trying to get sympathy from us, he's the one who is trying to fool us, honestly. He's trying to tell us, because we are not fools. Every year we hear control of budget allocating millions in the office of, actually even the internet, he was given 12 million, and you under like 12 million for internet alone. And this is the same person who is making a scene out of traveling in a commercial plane. Actually, whatever idea is trying to put out there is not, he should act like a deputy president. He should know he's a deputy president.
Yes. David, briefly.
Let me tell you, we call them politicians.
Yes.
We don't call them leaders.
Yes.
Yeah. Politicians, they are good in whipping the emotions of their people. Let me tell you what has happened to the deputy president. Deputy president right now, he is a man under siege. If you want to know that he is a man which is under siege, listen to the statement of Aden Duale. Listen to the statement of the Interior Cabinet Secretary, Kidiki. And quite a number of people, even in his government. It is actually a position whereby he is almost becoming a lone ledger.
Yes.
And that's why he has said one thing, that politics is local.
Yes.
So what he is trying to do is actually to whip the emotions of
Central
Kenya. And he is actually trying to show them, look at some of the things which are happening to you. You remember when they came into power, one of the statements that the president said is the way I was treated, I will not allow my deputy to be treated the same way.
Wow.
But you know what he is trying to do? He is showing the public and the people that the same thing that was happening to this president is actually the same things which are happening to me. So he is whipping the emotions.
Yes.
And you know, let me tell you, he is a drama queen. Give it for him.
Yes.
He is a man who will actually dramatize every other thing.
Yes.
And I can tell you, he is getting it to some people because the problem with most of the Kenyans, they just look at things without weighing them out. And they will look at it and they say, our man, he is being mistreated. So you are actually able to see that he has actually, he has some of the budgets and all those things, so he can do whatever he wants. But how many Kenyans do you know that he has a budget and he can travel well? Do you know one of the things, it is a security concern. What he is doing is a very serious thing for this country. If anything today happened to the deputy president, it would be a very, very difficult time for this country. So that's why we are saying, let the politicians stop being politicians. Don't dramatize things. Do the work that we sent you to do, and then after that, we will give you the vote. Whether, because who tells you? It is not, 2027 is coming. It is not a must you go with the president.
Yes.
You can actually change. How many parties keep on changing? In fact, I can tell you, take it to the back. Kenya Kwanza will not go 2027 as Kenya Kwanza.
It won't.
Azimio will not go as Azimio. So the thing is, let people stop panicking about these, these small things. If you do things right, people will accept you and they will give you vote. So let's stop these kind of things.
Well and nicely said. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Remember, all these politics these guys are pulling is for their own family. Whether he takes a KQ or he takes a private helicopter, it does not change what is on your table. We want them to do politics in such a way that it affects our pocket, it affects our table. There are people who are not eating because they cannot afford. So whether he takes a chopper or not, it's none of our business. It's really a non-issue. But they should play clean politics, not what we are seeing today. You call your member of parliament, send text to him. I know there are some MPs who are complaining they're getting very vulgar text. Don't send a vulgar text. Just send him a text and be very, very clear about how if they pass this finance bill as is, then there's going to be problem. Because we'll mark them. Next time at the ballot box, we will go and we'll announce you voted, and so we'll kick you out. So help us, God. With that, we got to bring down the curtains on the show. Do have yourself a lovely morning.
Thank you.